Matthew 13, verse number 40, the Bible reads, "As therefore the tares are gathered and burned in the fire, so shall it be in the end of this world. The Son of Man shall send forth his angels, and they shall gather out of his kingdom all things that offend and them which do iniquity, and shall cast them into a furnace of fire. There shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth."
Are you okay?
Referring to hell as a furnace of fire. Again, you can't escape the fiery description of hell. If it was just a metaphor, he'd probably be using other examples. But no, it's fire. It's real. It's in the center of this earth. It's in the heart of the earth. Because there should be wailing and gnashing of teeth. People are going to be screaming. Again, another aspect of hell that is so unpleasant, that is just so horrible. When I think of just screaming in general, I could think of sometimes in the middle of the night when a little infant, a little baby wakes up and they're screaming their head off, and you're really exhausted and tired. Man, that can just pierce your ears and just it's not very pleasant to just be woken up with all this screaming. But that's nothing compared to the screaming and wailing that's going on in hell. Because that screaming is one thing. Now, what's even worse than the screaming just in the middle of the night is to hear, for example, your child get hurt really, or your loved one, anybody, get hurt really bad and start screaming out that way because they're in so much pain. Add to that, you're not getting any rest. You're not getting any sleep because you're engulfed in flames. You're not able to rest. You're not able to sleep at all. All your life exists of at that point, your death exists of because you're not even alive, is screaming, torture, pain, horrible place. Look, I don't like this topic, okay? I don't like hell. I don't like thinking about it, but we have to think about it because it's real. This is the place. Look, when you look at someone on the street, you have to understand this place that we're describing this morning, that person might end up in that place. Think about that when you look people in the eye.
Will you end up there?
Is this person going to end up screaming their head off for the rest of their death in hell forever, being tortured and tormented? The goal of this sermon is to try to help us to be motivated to want to reach the lost because hell is such a bad place. And to never forget, one, we deserve that place. To keep us humble. But God saved us from that place by offering us a free gift. We need to bring that gift to others. Turn, if you would, to Revelation chapter 14. See, a lot of people have this misconception that Satan rules in hell. That, that's Satan's dominion, and that's his place, and that's where he comes to rule, and he reigns in hell. He does not rule and reign in hell. The Bible says in Psalm 139, verse 7, he says, "Whither shall I go from thy spirit, or whither shall I flee from thy presence? If I ascend up into heaven, thou art there. If I make my bed in hell, behold, thou art there." God is in hell. As much as he's in heaven, as much as he's everywhere. God is omnipresent, which means he's everywhere. Nothing can contain God. He's all over the place. But he says, if I make my bed in hell, behold, thou art there. You don't escape God from going to hell. You don't fall into Satan's dominion. But we're going to see this here in Revelation chapter 14. Look at verse number 9. It says, "And the third angel followed him, saying with a loud voice, If any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture, into the cup of God, which is poured out without mixture, with firestone, in the presence of the holy angels, and in the presence of the Lamb." Who's the Lamb? It's Jesus Christ. It says Jesus Christ. You are going to be in the presence of Jesus Christ while you're being tormented and tortured with fire and brimstone. You're not escaping Jesus Christ by going to hell. Hey, you want to try to get away from Jesus? You want to try to get away from God in this lifetime? Yeah, good luck with that, because when you're burning in hell, you're going to be in his presence at all times. You cannot get away from him. Verse 11, it says, "And the smoke of their torment